Thank you for tuning into this video. We are about to discuss the possibility of triple digit silver, $100+ silver, if it can happen, when it will happen, and also what it would take for it to happen. Before we jump into this though, I'm doing a 47,000 subscriber silver giveaway. So make sure you click subscribe, but also click the bell or you might miss the entry video. I just gave away the silver to the winners of my 46,000 subscriber giveaway, and now we're already about to do my 47,000 subscriber silver giveaway. I can't thank you all enough. I would love for you to participate in this video. Let me know what you think about this. With that said, let's jump into it. Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer and welcome to my daily 10 a.m. video. Thank you for tuning in. Now, we're going to be covering an article and actually showing some video talking about when silver's going to break out and if triple digit silver is still on the cards. Now, I got to make a disclaimer because every time I make a video talking about $100 silver, people have to come out and say, you're just pumping silver. And that's not the case. I'm covering articles that are talking about $100 silver. I'm not sitting here saying silver's going to explode to $100 tomorrow. No, I'm covering articles that are talking about $100 silver themselves and seeing what points they make. Because regardless, we all know silver's worth more than $100. That's not the point here. The point is to see what their reasoning is for this and if they're making some good points. Now, especially since we're going to be showing a video on this, we're going to be watching this video together. I'm going to be breaking down some of the key points that they're saying, regarding $100 silver, and let's see, what they have. They might make some very good points, but I just have to say that because, I try to be realistic. I got to be transparent. I'm not saying silver's going to hit $100 tomorrow, not next month, not even next year, but it definitely is worth that much, and I do think it will hit that one day. But if you are listening to someone who's just saying that silver is going to explode by the end of 2021 to $100+ silver, that's not realistic. It's going to be false hope. That's unrealistic expectations, which can lead to resentments and essentially push you away from silver as a whole. Silver is a hedge against inflation. It's a much slower pace type of investment compared to Bitcoin, but at the end of the day, you're putting your money into something that is timeless, that is priceless. No amount of US dollars will ever be worth an ounce of silver. I don't care if it's $1,000. No amount of fake money is ever going to equal an amount of real money, right? 1 ounce of silver is always going to have 1 ounce of silver in it, regardless of the price tag attached to it. That's the irrelevant part. But, we still have to see what points they're making, and also if silver will ever hit this price. And more importantly, when. It's not an if, but it's a when. And I like how they're asking the question, when will silver break out? It's not if silver will break out, it's when. So anyways, let's jump into this video and see what points they have to make.
What on earth is going on with silver? And is triple digit silver still on the cards? I'm joined in this episode of Gold Core TV by Patrick Karim of North Star Bad Charts, and we're discussing everything technical analysis about our favorite white metal. And remember, if you now talking about long-term price targets, because I've been following some of your stuff now on social media recently, and you've got some interesting long-term price targets on silver. With some triple-digit figures. Maybe you can explain to me how your analysis is arriving at those numbers.
Yeah, well, I have my greedy and my non-greedy targets.
I love it.
And the greedy ones are the ones based on log scale.
Okay.
But you got to understand with silver and it's not like a ratio chart. It's denominated into a fiat currency, which is exponentially debased, or it's like every year, I don't know, 11 or 12% more like money they bring in. And you see historically, it's able to maintain logarithmic ascents, right? This is like on the log scale, you could see it visually, because if I put a chart on the linear and it's all squished down, that means there was a log advance somewhere and it just compressed that linear movement. So you gotta see silver as something that has a tendency to move logarithmically once it gets going, but on these big time scales. So let's say I just zoom in and I take, where's my measuring tool? But remember, guys, it's always one step at a time, right? And look at that. So this would be a peak to peak Uber 12. So like see, so if you do a measure move of that huge multi-year 40-year base and you add it on top, so that's a crazy target, like 640 here on the log scale, just the recent cup that we're probably going to be forming. That's a 250% move. So that brings me to like around 150. That's, let's say, the angle of ascent keeps being maintained. And then you could have probably time to reach these targets, right? So let's say you keep bouncing off this uptrend and eventually maybe you could reach that target in the late of the decade. So maybe triple digits, 150, blow off top, 20, 28. And with other charts we have.
So as you just heard, he said $150 silver as the top by 2028, right? And right now it's 2021. So we're seeing 7 years. He's saying $150 silver. Now, he said that's a little bit of a greedy price, but it's definitely possible. I also like how when he first started speaking, he mentioned the most important thing is we're comparing the price of silver to a collapsing dollar, which makes it a little bit of a different situation. But regardless, though, the point is, and I like how he said it's a step-by-step process, right? Right now, silver has to break above $30. And then when it breaks above 30, the next huge target, that psychological price range of 50, would be the next goal to jump above. There's going to be a lot of resistance at $50 because 1980 and 2011, it bounced from 50 and down. So, we're talking about years and years and years of resistance at a $50 level, which is the highest price silver's ever been. So if it breaks past 50, I would see it going to 100 extremely fast just from the amount of eyes, the amount of attention. But regardless, there is a lot of resistance. But step by step, break past 30, maybe go to 35, back down to 32, and then go up to 40, then back down to 37, and then it breaks above 50, and then it'll probably go to 62, then down to 57. You see what I'm saying? It just goes up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit. We don't want it to just go straight up to 100 because then it would crash and take probably a decade, even longer, for it to even, start to recover. But I do like from the technical perspective, right, the technical analysis, how and why silver has so much potential, so much opportunity, right? We're not just speculating. When we're looking at this information, when we're looking at everything that's happening in the economy, I just covered yesterday the FOMC meeting results, how COVID is actually returning, and that's having a strong play on silver prices right now. Also, Federal Chairman Jerome Powell mentioning that everything's interest rates, everything's staying put right now. They're not making any drastic changes. Nothing's actually changing, and if stuff does start to change, they will give us a nice warning in advance, so that will kind of give us time to expect what's going to happen with the prices. But let's look at the 3 month right now. So this is what I was talking about step by step, because right here, a lot of resistance at 30, and then it breaks down, and then you see this plateau 26, and then it breaks down. So yesterday was critical for news from the FOMC meeting to look bullish for silver, because if it would have been bad, it would have been really bad. We would have probably seen $22, $23 silver for a while, but it did bounce back. You can see gold and silver are in the green. Actually, platinum's down a little bit, but all precious metals across the board were in the green. So when we're talking about $100 silver, I also do see a lot of questioning. Who's going to buy it, right? Who's going to buy $100 silver? Well, you know who would? I will. Will you? I would love for you to participate. Are you going to invest into $100 silver? And if you're not going to, then I want to ask why. Do you remember y'all hear like your parents or grandparents say, yeah, back in the day, a pack of cigarettes was a quarter, all that types of stuff. That's because the dollar's purchasing power is deflating. So things cost more money over time, right? Cars nowadays didn't cost as much back in the day. Well, the same principle is going to apply in the future. It's going to cost more dollars to buy the things today. So maybe right now Tesla's 50,000, but in the future Tesla will be 100,000. Same thing could apply to silver as well. Same thing applies to everything. You're going to need more dollars to buy these things. That's why back in the day, a $50, a Walking Liberty $50 could get you a gallon of gas back in the day. That same $50 could get you a gallon of gas today. The same coin. If you could time travel, if you were back then getting a gallon of gas at the gas station for a $50, and then all of a sudden you shot into a time warp, and landed in today's time, and all you had in your pocket was that same $50 you just bought a gallon of gas with, you could still use that same $50 and get a gallon of gas today. You want to know how? Back in the day, it was the 50 cents face value that you can buy a gallon of gas with. Nowadays, you could take that $50 to your local coin shop, sell it for $10, go get a gallon of gas, even more. You see how silver's priceless, how it's timeless? See, it's not always about the face value. It's the metal inside of it. A Walking Liberty $50 had 50 cents worth of silver in it. See, the silver is what is the value. That's what is always going to be valuable. Not who says that coin is worth how much. That's not the point. The point is how much silver is inside of that. And that principle is always going to apply. That's why gold and silver has been used as money for over 5,000 years. So looking forwards, I only see things looking more bullish. I made a video the other day, a couple days ago, explaining exactly why. And I covered probably 10 different points in that video, showcasing why silver is so explosive. I went over every single angle, not just talking about supply and demand, but we went into a lot of different points. And it's that type of information that you have to look and say, realistically, do you really think silver is going to still be sitting at $26 in 5-10 years from now? I mean, we just saw, and I cover articles all the time about $100 silver over the next decade. Do you think these people are just making these numbers up, looking at this information, looking at the charts, and just throwing out random numbers off the top of their head, just hoping? No, there's reasons, there's facts, there's evidence, there's reason for this. They're not saying silver is going to be $5, in 10, 15 years. They're saying 150 plus. Some people saying a lot more than that. And there's reasoning. And these people are respectable, right? They're respectable people. They're not, you can't just, especially when it comes to articles that aren't even from silver stacking sites or whatever. You're seeing people come out like Bank of America, Saxo Bank, a lot of different people that don't even have no benefit, not even an interest in silver themselves, but they're also talking about why they think that silver is going to be explosive in the next coming several decades, and not even that, forever from now on. I mean, as we advance digitally and technologically, the demand for silver is only going to keep going up and up and up and up and up until me and you are 80 plus years old, until our kids grow up and are adults. Imagine how much silver is going to be needed then, while the supply is already scarce. I mean, you cannot say you think silver is still going to be $26 in the next 10, 15, 20 years, and especially the next 30, 40, 50 years. Imagine what the price could be then. So if you are investing for your kids or your grandkids, if you are putting some ounces together and they hold on to it and don't sell it until they're in their 20s or 30s, imagine the type of wealth they could have or they will have. So, yeah, I mean, I would love for you to participate. What do you think silver is going 10 plus years? Do you see silver at $150 at these levels that they're talking about? Or do you think that's a little on the extreme side? Now, we have a lot of people that would say, of course, we're talking about $500 plus silver. But then you always have the guys that are going to come in and be a little edgy and say, no, you're crazy. You're just pumping silver. Silver will never break past $50, all that stuff. And I get it. I mean, if you want to be a little more on the realistic side, or just look at, price manipulation, whatever. You can do that, but you also have to look at the opportunity at play, and also look at what silver's really worth. I mean, the government can't keep up with this type of manipulation forever. I've covered articles proving that and talking about the reasoning behind it. But, at the end of the day, we're investing in the silver for a reason, and you are too. So I'm going to wrap this video up here. I really hope that you enter my 47,000 subscriber giveaway. So click the subscribe button, click the bell so you'll get notified, or you might miss the entry video. You don't want to miss it. Trust me. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.